What we've seen, Astralis lift a trophy, a major title for Glaive, and now he's heading back out of that stage with ENCE this time behind him. And for the first time since 2015, there might be a Polish team in the semi-finals. It's all decided here on Nuke. This is the map of dreams. Will this romantic run from ENCE be stopped by Falcons? We're about to find out.
And Falcons going to be starting on the offensive side, attacking into ENCE's defense. And I'll tell you what, this ENCE team has grown quite a bit since map 1 in this series. Goofy no longer shy on the stage. D-Hut's having his impact. Hades was spectacular on Overpass, and they are going to need all three here on Nuke. Dualies on Kyler and fast-paced outside for Falcons.
They've just been so good on pistol rounds today. Unstoppable, unrelenting, but this time it is Hades who has become the heart of ENCE, who opens up with the first kill with the pistol, and the second is even better. This is more like it from ENCE. The first round of Nuke is looking fantastic, and Poland love that one. It's just Magisk left this time, and it's gotta feel rough for Falcons. They've been on the receiving end this time.
Finally a pistol round for ENCE. Finally they get a start in the lead, and that is just dominance. Hades picking up right where he left off. Brilliant triple kill outside.
ENCE have dominated every single one of these. But Hades, they talked about him not being a big game player. As part of the reason he wasn't put into the ENCE team for long. He was removed, he was replaced.
Yeah, well, he's had some time off. He's picked it up since then. He's delivering today on the stage, looking for those semifinals. It's 1-0, and we're not going to get the force buy from Falcons. They're content to descend into just deagles. No armor. Nade damage is massive.
Oh, it's beautiful. And we talked about how D-Ha was struggling over on his CT roll and overpass. Well, on Nuke, he's kind of carved out one of his own play styles, which is being disruptive towards outside, getting aggressive, playing towards red.
Yeah, but they got to be careful. You can get really discombobulated on Nuke. You can get really disorganized quickly with some of the fast-paced rounds that'll surely come out. For the moment, Hades happy to have an eye outside with no support. He's got a teammate in mini in case they try and turn in.
He's got to be feeling so full of confidence right now, Hades, after a map like that. To kick off the pistol with a 3K is the dream beginning. They've got to be careful they don't drop the ball to the pistols here of Falcons, because they've actually got on by a couple of these crosshairs. But once again, it's Hades stepping up, and D-Hut's with him, but Magisk slips on through the net. And he's got a weapon to play with now in a 1v2. Let's not count him out of this situation, because he definitely has a chance now with the premium rifle. It's the health that worries me. And he's got to be instant on this kill on his former champion in-game leader, and it hasn't connected on the first time of asking, and in fact, it will never connect.
Pretty costly though for ENCE. I think Falcons is going to be more than happy with their production with just deagles. Magisk was brought down to that HP from the nade early on in the round and still nets himself 2 kills. So a lot of rebuys for ENCE. Meanwhile, Falcons going to pick up the AK-47s.
And for the first time, sincere chance of Polska Gurom ring out around the spot egg, because they might just come out on top today. Here comes their first challenge on Nuke. They smoke out Heaven. Suggests perhaps a quicker maneuver towards outside. Hades is going to dive down into main. And Sampice is the man at the front of the pack, and he's got the bomb on his back.
Yeah, I don't know, he might have been spotted in a fight for Hades to win, but he's caught in the open. A double peek. D-Hut get nothing done. Even when you add Goofy into the equation, it changes nothing.
And Kylar and Glaive now with 2v3. It's going to be the sprint down the lower bomb site for Falcons. Glaive is trying to get there before them. He might even get there before them. Glaive is now holding this angle, and Sampice gets no step closer. Glaive is looking to give ENCE the perfect start to take out this gun round, and Magisk is below him. Oh, he's below him. Will Glaive detect him? He's starting to read it. And Magisk flicks on up. Despite Glaive having the up on him, Magisk still stays in that position. And Kylar descends down the ladder, now detected and double peaked. Magisk comes in, and it will be Falcons to collect their first gun round.
I'll tell you what, Glaive's trying to use the roar of the crowd to give him a little bit of information. He thought Magisk was going to be behind that smoke. His aim got pulled away. Glaive gets a little bit fooled in that situation, but good trading outside. The follow-up peaks from ENCE can get absolutely nothing done. And it's good to see Sampice having a couple of impactful kills here in that round, because he had a real tough time on overpass. We saw frustration, we saw anger, and we saw him lose out to Hades, his counterpart on ENCE. 0-6 in head-to-head duels for the Alpers on Overpass. And Sampayas surely wants to change that here in map 3. And an on-fire Sampayas is a sight to behold. It's a timeout for ENCE. They're gonna force buy into this, getting the strongest buy onto the field as humanly possible.
Throughout this tournament, it has been a cool, collected sort of facial expression on Kubin. Now inside of the arena, much more intense look upon his face. He realizes now there's an opportunity, especially in map 3 of this series, to make this run happen. And not in this run, though. It doesn't look too pretty, but we'll have to wait and see what ENCE can do with the force buy. We've seen them earlier on Overpass be able to pull something off like this, but it's quick through ramp, and Goofy's the player that has to make sure it happens. With that 5-7, Glaive is overrun, and he was the player with the rifle, the player you wanted to step up, and Madden is murdering them once again. And there's just too many angles to worry about. Diha and Kylar, it's not a position to find yourself in if you want to win it.
That second player coming in ramp with a back 10 is just so fast. The M4 can't double up. That's picked up by Mattern after his double kill. And this should pretty much be the round. I think ENCE will be happy to back off and maybe go for some exits. Maybe see if they can, obviously a recovered scout is quite nice. If Diha can hold on to that, it'd be a thing of...
Oh my God, somehow he is holding on to it. The timing is absolutely perfect for Diha. He's actually gonna slip on by. It's so awkward, but he's making noise now, and surely he gets checked. Surely he gets found out. He will eventually. It took some time. He was protected by something greater. Kyler descends down to the floor, and he's going to be saving his 5-7. So it was a force buy ENCE went with, but didn't come too close to picking it up, Jason.
No, they needed more out of that M4. Always going to be a tough thing. They had the stack in the right place, just couldn't convert. This is going to get interesting. You know, Glaive mentioned the group stage for ENCE when they qualified for the Spodek. He said that felt for some of the players like it was lifting the trophy, like that was the championship, just getting into the Spodek. Well, now you have this new challenge, and once you're in this situation where you actually can make it to the semifinals, even deeper than you could have ever dreamed of coming into this event with a new lineup, that's a lot more pressure. That's a lot more energy that just gets burned as this game goes on.
And Diha was saying that as well in the interview we gave just before this matchup, that they kind of took so much energy to get into the arena that last game versus Mouse, he knew they felt flat. They didn't have it in them. They didn't have enough energy to keep going. And he was happy that match happened in the group stage, in a match that decided whether or not they're going to the quarterfinals or the semis, rather than happening here in the Spodek. And they need every single piece of energy they can muster. Shots across the board. It rings out for Falcons. It's a convincing victory that'll take them into the lead.
And Hades will have a long time to try and save this AK-47. We'll see if Falcons is feeling motivated at all to go for the hunt. Doesn't look like it. Falcons going to be up 3-2 early on this T side of Nuke.
We focus a lot, for good reason, on the storyline of ENCE and what it would mean to get through to the semi-finals. But for Falcons as well, this is a team that, in a similar vein to ENCE, didn't expect to be this good this early. And I mean, you definitely seen cracks throughout the group stages. They didn't look fantastic. There was questions of whether or not they would even make it through. And when questioned on whether or not they were going to be a playoff team, Snappy actually said, not if we play like this. So they've had to pull out their socks. They've had to get into fighting form.
The nice thing is for teams like this, the deeper you go in the event, the more experience you're gaining, and especially for a team like Falcons, who has the greatest coach of all time, has a fantastic core that they brought over from ENCE earlier. They have Magisk as well, a 4-time major champion. Your improvement can be quick. It can be swift.
Yeah. They're worth their weight in gold, those official matches early on. And this Falcons team was put together for one reason, built for victories. Whether or not they're a championship level team at the moment is yet to be seen. And ENCE want to stop their run in the quarterfinals. They've got to buy back here, ENCE. They've got rifles across the board. Hades on the AK-47, he was saved over from the previous. And this could be a classic Snappy call. The pressure into this A-bomb site with flashes.
Yeah, they're going to try and bust in. Kyler and Goofy are in there for the defense. Hades is close by, up in heaven. No AWP in the field of play, no counter Molotovs to be thrown out from anyone.
They know those smokes outside are going to buy them time for just a few more seconds. Eventually, the timing has to be hit. And Snappy's going to hear that re-smoke coming out. ENCE delaying with their final pieces of utility.
And this, I mean, all the upper defenders are going to be unnoticed because there's nobody outside.
And look at the setup designed to deal with this. Goofy has to drop off. Here's Kyle from man, and double kill swiftly, removing the lives of Boros and Magisk, and Goofy's peeking out behind him. He stops that Ventai, but the ball makes it down. And Madden collects it, but there's no hope in hell for this one. It's a 1v5, and they've already made the rotation. ENCE already have this round. Madden's gonna put that bomb, at least fake plant it. It's a good headshot on Clay, but he hears the stomp of the players arriving down the vents. And surely do not let this one slip. He's coming back into position, and finally, from one of the angles that ENCE have taken up, they will secure the round that ties up the game again.
And Glaive's pressure, even though he goes down, prevents Madden from getting that bomb plant, prevents extra money from flowing into the pockets of Falcons. They're going to be fine in this one, but that's going to start chipping away at the money. 5 AKs on board. Falcons just execute a little bit early before that smoke plumes, and Kyler's able to take advantage.
And then the pressure will start piling on Snappy to continue finding calls that keep Falcons competitive. The buy still stands, but that can quickly fall away. Boros heads outside. Smokes are up. It's not the prettiest smoke execute. It has actually left a huge gap towards man that Boros was hoping he could use in his favor, but look at this from Boros. So elusive, but he walks right into Dihot, and you can't get past the Destroyer. Dihot stands behind the smokes. His teammates will start to have a look with him, and Dihot's just changing position multiple times, worried about being pushed, but it's a flank from some bias that should have been detected, but Dihot steps back and steps to his death.
Yeah, they lost track of it entirely as Dihot came out of Big Garage. And look at Madden, he's cleared the upper bomb site. So much attention was brought outside that Madden is able to slip the net, and what can he create? Nobody shifting back. They've got to be so confused of where this defense is. Goofy over and Squeakdoor can stop them from progressing into the bomb site itself. There's no smoke to block it off, so Falcons have a tough read.
It's a difficult round here for the T side. It comes down to some crucial fights that will be fought inside of the lobby. And Goofy is that player. Goofy has to step up. And the time is starting to dwindle.
If Hades tries to get into the upper bomb site, he just climbed the ladder, he's in trouble.
Yeah, Madden's looking at it, and Hades doesn't overextend just yet, but that's the fight that means the most. That's the bomb, and it isn't the double. Madden does catch Hades unaware. So confused as to how Madden is that deep inside of the A bomb site, but it's a golden ticket now for Snappy as he puts that bomb down and looks to close in this 3v2. And Senpais hasn't moved from his earlier fight versus Dihot. He's still in position. He's still in the flank. And they peek out to check him. They detect him looking the wrong way. And that was the retreating maneuver from Glaive, but with that kill, perhaps they have eyes on the prize yet again.
They have a kit, they have a smoke. They need to get past Madden and Snappy.
It comes down to timing. Madden looks up, he's blinded, he looks back into it, but it doesn't even matter. He's blinded, but he still will break them. Madden is having a masterclass inside of the spot deck.
It's so crazy. Like, I don't even think you should be that confused when the upper bomb site is devoid of defense for that long. Because Goofy has the angle, that's the only explanation. He didn't get there in a timing to see Madden slip in, but that's just a time bomb, isn't it? Madden sitting inside the site like this.
Look at this, he even gets caught for the flash when he turns back into it, but...
And this is the disorganization you can get into on Nuke. When your defense starts having to move as a new team, it's going to be one of the more difficult maps to get everyone on the same page of how rotations work, where you rotate to. Or is that going to create the gaps? And ENCE is the first team to fall prey to it.
Madden lines them up, shuts them down, and now opens up that A-bomb site. He's going to sprint through. He's got space to play with. And he was made for this stage. Boros looks up towards heaven, and it's Glaive that overextends, and ENCE will now fall at the hands of at least swift cleave from Falcons. Hades comes up through secret. Boros is holding for that exact maneuver. And it's 5 alive for Falcons.
Well, let's see what ENCE is going to decide to change in that outer defense. Hades does have an AWP now. It's an op with no armor. Still have to be very cautious. But outside seems to be where Falcons want to start their rounds. They've been very aggressive and assertive, taking control of that part of the map and building on it from there.
The troubles have been on the CT side for ENCE. They win their pistol for the first time. It's given them the start they wanted, but now they've got to stay in it. They've got to stay in this half. Glaive changes it up slightly. It's a deeper angle being taken.
And it gives Glaive a chance to get aggressive from ramp room if he wants to. On a timing, he can push.
Running in towards Kylar. It's a long and labored spray, but he eventually brings down his opponent with a sidearm. But Boris once again cuts through Diha towards outside. And Boris, being in this position, just starts to ask so many questions for ENCE. Where could you have lost map control? Where could they be? And Glaive just doesn't know the answers.
There's something that Falcons saw where they want to attack this. They're being so aggressive and so disrespectful getting into that big garage. And that's going to force ENCE's hands. And that gives Snappy a lot of things to play with. Now that you're having success outside, you can kind of predict that ENCE is going to have to change things up, bring an extra body there, and that's where ramp hits are more effective. That's where upper buffs are more effective. ENCE are reeling in this third map.
And it's got to be a timeout. It just has to be. It's not like they're going to have the resources to get the purchase they desire. It's going to be another round on weaker weapons.
And it's so much money built up for Falcons in this early going. It's been so dominant. They're sitting very nice for the rest of this half. They might not have to save a single time. And ENCE, this kind of shifts into a half where the focus is on recovery.
Some of the problems for Team Falcons was the fact that when this roster came together, there's too many quote-unquote support players. Someone else had to step up and start taking some initiative, start taking some space, and so far that has been Madden.
Madden's been great in this series. He's very rarely going to be the guy who just kind of blows up on the scoreboard and drops 25 kills, but his aggressive plays, his map control, his impact is being felt in every single map.
D has invested the most, everybody else with upgraded pistols with some residual cash left over. Madden again is the reckoning with a double on the drop. And eyes towards CT. It's Glaive inside of hell. Glaive will fall upon his peak. Hades gathers one on the CZ. And Diha has to step up from Secret, but he is silenced immediately by Boros. Hades now in the lobby, and it's Falcons up to 7. The pain continues, but it was about saving as much money as possible for this next round for ENCE.
Yeah, this has to be it for ENCE. This has to be the round you bounce back and scrape together these last two, and they have to get the outside yard under control. Boros and Madden are having their way with it. There's way too much success, way too much freedom out there that's being created. And I think this is finally the round ENCE kind of have to respect it a little bit more.
Definitely got to adjust. Utility does stop Snappy from getting into hot early doors. So Pius, though, is the player to strike with that opening. And once again, we talked about how Diha could be having a better time on the CT side, but he's not. He's gone early. And that spam down from Goofy was damn close to getting the trade to even out these numbers.
Yeah, but another pick, another first kill for Falcons comes outside, and this time they're going away from it. But if you're ENCE, I don't know what you do to recover it. Glaive's dropped into Secret, which leaves ramp wide open. Hades is going to call that out now. He cannot step into the flames and fight. There's nothing to stop Falcons. They've got a clear path to the lower bomb site.
And Glaive has to rotate down early on. His teammates are so far away from being able to join him, though, so if there is going to be a moment, it's got to be greatness from Glaive. He stands waiting for the fight he knows is coming his way. Outmatched. And he is down, and there's no way he can get away with that. Snappy clears him instantly. Glaive without a kill. And this puts ENCE into a 3v5 and the bomb down against them. It's another situation. It's another tough pill. It's another save.
It just brings you right back to Mirage, where Falcons have found this weak point and they're just leaning on it. And I mean, even this round where they don't actually go outside off the back of it, the fact they get the opening pick in that part of the map, it's so much control, so much information taken away from ENCE. And it's so early in the round that you can't really execute any protocols that you normally would. You can't do any kind of a lobby crunch. Half has spiraled out of control for ENCE entirely.
Yeah, That's despite winning the pistol round, despite having the start to the half they would have wanted. The defense has been a disaster so far. But there's still time. This was the opening fight. Diha takes a risk. Thinks he might have a fight up on top of Silo against a rifle, but unfortunately for him, he was staring right into the eyes of Sampaius.
Final round of the first half, and Sampaius is feeling good. He's dropped down to the P90. You have to imagine that's going to mean an upper rush.
And it is, in fact, that upper rush. The P90 swings out in the spot deck, and it's down, it's out. And this looks like a fourth round for ENCE. Just Snappy left. And it's a classic call from Snap. He loves to throw them in. And the first time you see the full upper bust to close the half, it gets stopped by the ENCE wall.
And it's a good call, too, with how much conditioning they've done to this ENCE defense to expect something outside. Unfortunately, ENCE gonna have a big hole to climb out of in the second half. Snappy goes down last. It's 8-4 in the favor of Falcons. Elimination on the lines. The semifinals await, and we find out who goes through in the second half.
for the final time tonight, Spodek, it is time for ENCE to try and continue this romantic run. Heading into the second half, they have a lot of work to do, but they have shown they can come back. They have shown they can stay in this, and they go up against the sharpened talons of Falcons.
This is going to test everything that they've learned about themselves throughout the play-ins, throughout the group stage, throughout this IEM Katowice. What can they bring to bear? T-side Nuke attacking into Falcons.
The T-side is where they have done their best work, and this commitment through the ramp, it is quick, and it could be a knockout punch to Boros, and he sees all he needs. He's going to run down into that bomb site at B, and he's not going to be alone. He has some teammates down there with him, so I'm going to slow it down here, ENCE. They're not going to fall into that trap.
No, this is a great slowdown. This is a great call from Glaive to just pause here for a moment, catch your breath. You force the defense to shift. You force them downstairs already. Now you can take your time, and at this point as well, you know there's likely to be a second player. You're expecting the resistance.
You're primed for it, but are you able to deal with it? It's the question. Sampaius taken down low, but he still stands tall with one at least. And Boros, oh, he's in the darkness, shrouded by it with one headshot still connected. There's no room to plant just yet, and Madden has made no secret about his position coming through the decontamination door. That kill has opened things up. It's allowed a new access point, but they fly up the ladder, and Falcons are back in position just in time.
Yeah, but Magisk has moved outside, so he's not going to see them drop in. They're still not sure where the finishing play is going to be. Madden went back downstairs just, to be honest, at both bomb sites. And Magisk is trying to win this by positioning.
How long is Kylar going to look at this? How long is Kylar going to consider the flank of Magisk? Coming around the corner, it's going to be the headshot for Kylar. And just Madden. And we know how insane he's been already in this quarterfinal. But this is a step too far. This is not going to be happening for him. Surely. Oh, my God, Madden! That is just broken ENCE apart. That is just one of those moments you cannot get back.
Oh, you can't recover from that. That has quieted down the whole arena. That is an unlosable round.
That is just, oh my, sucking the life out of the team. How has he done that?
An absolute miracle in the quarterfinals. Madden in this series has been so spectacular, and that's one for the highlight reel. 16-6 for Madden, and he's got Falcons back, running away with it, piling on ENCE.
But still, the crowd stand with him. Another pissed around loss, this time done in the most maniacal fashion. Snappy coming up through secret stairs. He's about to have an early fight versus Diha, and he's got it. That's Diha down. And ENCE will have to suffer the rest of this round. 4 players versus 5. They're attempting to trade. They're attempting this split. They overwhelm Madden this time around. Snappy is taken out of play by Hades. This could be a great answer back for ENCE after having an absolute nightmare in the previous to come back swinging into this. But it has to be Goofy, and he's done it! Oh, Goofy! A great headshot out to heaven, and that gets them back into this. That brings life back into ENCE.
What a rebuttal. Goofy steps up again just like he did on Overpass with an important clutch there. 1v2, and he nails the shots. Breathes some much needed life back into ENCE, and it's Falcons onto pistols.
Yeah, just pistols here for them, and we know how sharp they can be on those. We just seen it a few rounds prior from Madden. Let's have to run with this now. Diha pushes behind those outside smokes, and he's not making any... Wow, he should have probably shifted for a little longer because these pistols come out swinging again. ENCE are broken surely this time. Hades and Kylar left in a 2v5. No, 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 ENCE. Not like this. They dug so deep to find a way back into it again, and it is snatched so cruelly from their hands. Hades considers the push to the T-roof. Kylar's going to clear it. That's Madden gone at least, but they need much more. 4 more, in fact, and a minute to do it.
It's still possible. Bomb is dropped at red box. Everyone knows it. Boros is outside with Sampaius and Snappy. Magisk will be there very quickly from vents. But Hades, if he can pick one off before committing, he's buying time for Kyler to rotate through the upper bomb site.
Oh, it's timing here on the peak. He does just get behind Red before that peak from Snappy comes on through. And look at that, Magisk inside of the vent. It's very sneaky, and he's caught a glimpse of his opponent moving towards main. And an important fight for Hades has been collected. Magisk finally breaks open that vent, breaks open Kylar, and they're about to break ENCE here in the spot deck. Hades has to clutch this, and Boros brings him down. Pistols are their bane in this moment, Jason, and it just isn't looking good for them.
Look, let's be real. There's nothing special to any of this from Falcons. This is just ENCE squandering every opportunity to come back into this third map. The 3v1 in the pistol round where they cannot complete the kill, where they try and aggress upon Madden, and all of them fall. They get saved by Goofy, and once again, just walking into the 5-7. Heartbreak after heartbreak for ENCE, and they are not experienced enough together to withstand this. For Falcons in the lead, they're more than happy to exchange blows 1-for-1 as they get closer to a quarterfinal victory.
Yeah, they don't have the playbook to go back into. They don't have a deep one to find the answers, and it looks so easy for them at the start of this round. Diha looked like he had safe passage to Secret, but he makes steps at the wrong time. It cost him his life, and then from that point onwards, it's absolute carnage. Kylar has a peek down towards ramp. It's the start they need. It's one of many. ENCE will hope. As Hades sends that deagle through, Snappy's pushed towards Red.
Diha needs to find his old in-game leader.
He does.
He's not going to be aggressive, though. He's the only one outside for the moment, so he's just watching for some kind of a push. He's going to bide his time and wait for ENCE to take attention elsewhere on the map. Question is, where do they want to go? A little bit of utility. Glaive is going to throw an outside smoke to help his teammate. Meanwhile, they creep closer to ramp. Boros is going to have a chance for impact.
Snappy pushes outside. Diha has to sink this one. Eventually, he does it. Boros holds. Okay, can't get around the corner without hitting a dig. And Sapias has come to clean them up. It looked like they had found their way through, and perhaps they still have, because Glaive has suddenly found himself in a clutch up against the greatest that Spain has ever had.
Yeah, well, you got 4 major trophies on the other side of that. And in this situation, I think Glaive is someone you'd want in this 1v1 to keep ENCE alive. I can't believe they keep fighting back into these rounds with almost nothing. Now, the big question here is the time on the clock, 30 seconds. Glaive doesn't have all day.
Yeah, he has to get that bomb back, and Sapias is starting to consider multiple different positions because he has no idea where Glaive is coming from. Absolutely no idea, but he's about to find out. He's about to have a look, and Sapias hears the noise of the crowd, and now he knows exactly where his next target is, his only target. And he peeks on out, composed as ever. It's Sapias stepping up and cleaning up. He might have just done it for ENCE. He might have broken them at the most brittle point of this game.
And for how much of a struggle Sapias had on overpass, he's stepping up here on Nuke. Dangerous situation. Yes, it's against pistols, but they're being overwhelmed, and Sapias puts a stop to it all. Triple kill over in ramp room, a good rotation, a good read of what's coming.
Well, they fought hard in every single round despite the weapons that they have. So ENCE coming back into it again. Tech9's their last stand. ENCE sprint out through the doors. Goofy running with it. Tech9 rounds that corner. But there's no follow-up yet until this point. Kylar assassinates Madden towards the back of the bomb site. And suddenly now there is a chance. But Boros got the flank. He's got this play in. He's created that space and he pulls out the sidearm. And despite ENCE getting into the bomb site, they do not find the plant. And Diha is put in a clutch again. This time a 1v3.
This time he's got the bomb at the very least. Doesn't have to worry about picking that up, but unfortunately, there's so much pressure on this round. Falcons would be on series point, quarterfinals point if they win this. This would have to top even Madden's clutch in the pistol. He's got room, no one downstairs. He's got space, he doesn't realize it yet. But at some point, you just have to plant the bomb and hope nobody peeks and go from there.
ENCE battled hard to be the first Polish team in 8 years to make it here to the spot deck. They don't want to go out like this, so Diha has moved into position to assassinate Boros and collect an MP9. But they know now where he's gone. And this now flips the chances increasingly in the favor of Falcons because it wasn't the weapon Diha wanted. It's only the little sidearm. And that defuse is being stuck all the way. And Diha gets him off it. The Tech-9 gets another. And this time Snappy's going for it. Diha, oh, he's got it. He's forced Snappy away. He's absolutely got it. And Diha, the hunter, the hometown hunter, slays a Falcon.
11-6. Diha keeps him alive for the moment. How close are these rounds? The heroics from both sides.
I can't believe Diha is able to pick it up on the Tech-9.
It's brilliantly played. It's brilliantly played the way he lures them out. Falcon's not sure which side of ramp room he's gonna peek. And yeah, they've got a lead. Yeah, they're 2 rounds away from the semifinal, but every round is stressful for Falcons.
We talked about them staying in it. We talked about them finding the fight.
It's beautiful to see this team that's newly formed being able to dig this deep and have no quit. But they need to turn the corner if they want to make this a true comeback. String 2 together, put Falcons back onto pistols. Take the money away and ride the momentum a little bit further. We haven't even really played a real gun round here on Nuke just yet.
No, we have not. A scrappy finish for a battle for a semifinal. It looked like the door was closing for ENCE, but Diha swings it wide open. And this hometown team have got more in them. 5-7 for Madden, takes a couple of shots. They're going into Boros. This unproven player blisters a headshot right through Goofy. Sampayas comes over with a scout, and despite having weaker weapons, Falcons are up multiple players. This will bring them to series point. This will bring them to semifinals point. And ENCE once again have to battle in the deficit.
Well, Diha playing an awkward game of chicken in the vents. Gonna force Madden away. 2 players heavily tagged up as Boros comes to address ramp room. They're lurking into his position and he's primed and ready.
Oh, he absolutely is. Deagle cocked and oh no, for Boros, it's a disaster, but for ENCE, it's an opening. And they're gonna move down into that bottom B bomb site. Plant will be secured. Glaive the man to do it. Madden hears that, and the door, because of the smoke, opens up the wrong way, so he can't swing out with it. He sends the flash in, chasing in with that 5-7. He now has to think about that damage being done to Glaive. He knows he's up towards the control room. Madden's chasing after them, but he's about to find 2 players at the top of the stairs, and his former teammate deals out that revenge headshot. And Magic's cast to fall away because ENCE are staying in this. ENCE are coming back.
Well, now we got a game in our hands. ENCE strings them both together. Some real grit in this map so far. Another situation where ENCE claws back from the jaws of defeat. It's 7-11, 4 rounds away, ENCE. And Diha again just being so good at finding a way to get his team back into these rounds. It was 3v5 at one point. The scout tags were a point of danger the whole time. And Diha's delivered critical kill whenever they've needed it. Round 19.
Look what it's done to the Falcons.
Yeah, but as we've seen, every round is dangerous. Kyler's gonna deliver a knockout punch. This is a play they loved running in the group stage. And it's netted them some openings again. Kyler with a triple kill.
And here comes Glaive, but he's Zeused away. He's blasted by the electricity that Snappy has at the tip of his fingers, but he's gonna need a lot more than that, and Kyler just isn't going to let it happen. Smiles creep on to the faces of ENCE, and who would have believed it just a few rounds ago?
And think of everything they've had to overcome. The Madden 1v3. multiple 3v5s. Like they have fought back from every deficit. This is very impressive for ENCE. Still 3 rounds back. No AWP for Sunpius on defense.
Kylar obliterated, half of his health gone. Boris jumps off that top box and goes down to B again. He has shown a willingness to stand and fight sometimes, but the majority of the time he's fine descending down because he knows his teammates are quite quick to make the rotation with him.
Yeah, but because he didn't stay up, because he just dropped immediately, this has pulled Madden downstairs for the moment. This is no information over in ramp room. Falcons are operating under the assumption that ENCE have control of ramp and could challenge downstairs, could challenge under heaven, and they're dead wrong. It's pulled Snappy to have an off angle as well. There's only one player in the upper bomb site, and that's exactly where ENCE is headed for the moment.
Ready to bust out.
Miss Molotov.
It's information now for Falcons as well, where the trajectory of that Molotov was intended for, but it doesn't remove the position of Magis, who drops down into the back of the site. Falcons up 2 players. 30 seconds left to make this final adjustment for ENCE.
It's toast.
And it's not done yet, Jason. Hades hits the shot inside of the site. Madden's gone, but 20 seconds. Yeah, now we're starting to run out of time. That bomb, oh, at the back of the pack. It is absolutely floundered at this point for ENCE. Even if they hit the headshots required, they wouldn't have made it down in time.
Hades has just gone for a little stroll through the upper bomb site. Magis never saw him on top of the hut, so we're going to save that AWP, but there's no strength in that hit. ENCE did everything right. As weak a defense as you could have wanted at the upper bomb site, and they can't make their way in. Opening kill from Magis slides down to allow Snappy to take next contact. A beautiful little switch up. And Falcons now have 4 chances to eliminate ENCE from IEM Katowice to make it into the semifinals where Spirit awaits.
The dream run to be here, and ENCE don't want to go out just like this. They fight for that opening kill. Hades looks outside, but no kill found from his initial attempt. First blood being drawn as the half health taken off Kylar, shaved away. Snappy looking to disallow positioning outside for ENCE. Smoke lands up in the wall. So plenty of space now to play with for ENCE as they move in behind them. But if they want this A split to happen, if they want the position to fight for this round, they've definitely got to get across secret safely, and that's exactly what happens. They make 2 players down without being taken out. And ENCE have a minute to play with now.
It's just Boros in ramp room as well. Nobody's shifted downstairs quite yet. But still, you have the problem of the other prong of this attack having to meet up with you. A little bit of pressure applied out Squeak Door.
Here comes the utility, the final movements perhaps for ENCE. They don't want it to be, but it could be the reality of the situation. But Diha and Hades sniping 2 kills back into play. And Magis once again pulled into the fray. He's got a position up on top, but Hades considers it. You can't play that position twice. You don't get away with it. And Boris rotates down to the ramp, spots them coming out. It's only 1 kill, and Snappy's left a 1v3 ahead of him. And he's so far away from this, so he's saving in towards spawn, and ENCE do not die. Not yet. They've still got some life left in them.
Hades is such an important part of this team, and we're seeing him on the T side with the AWP find openings and 5 impact kills. While normally it's the AK-47s creating space, it's Hades towards Squeak Door a number of rounds who's provided some critical kills, some important frags to make these tactics work. 9. ENCE just 3 rounds back, cutting into this lead as much as possible. Bomb goes off, and we continue round 22. Falcons gonna buy right back into it. They've got cash, they've got money.
I mean, Hades does everything to keep them in this, doesn't he? Great shot out towards the door, considers Magic's being up on top again. And frustration for Boros as he just wants to finish it now. They want that semi-final. They want the opportunity to move through and face Spirit.
Falcons taking this second time out, during which they've sold all the weapons they previously bought, so reconsidering with this 3-round lead that they can be patient. They don't need to force up. They don't need to stop them right here, right now. They need to set themselves up for the long game. It's going to be an M4 in the hands of Snappy. But every round in this half has been contested from both teams. And Deagle's making their way into the Falcons' arsenal. A hiccup here from ENCE would be heartbreaking, would be crushing. And if you're Falcons now, surely you've got the message that Hades off towards Squeak Door is going to be there time and time again.
Don't mess with it. Don't even give it the chance. And Diha gets into position outside. Finally with some space to play with. They go into this top site. Madden's hoping he can catch something with a Zeus, but it's composed for ENCE at the moment. They know they're up against a weaker purchase. They know they've got time. So the outside smoke's deployed. They can activate Diha. Big shot again. Hades is the key to unlock these rounds time and time again for ENCE. Magic's though with the Deagle. We've seen him do ridiculous things with it in the past.
Look how much they respect it.
They respect it, and that's going to funnel them back into the A play. And Madden's waiting for them. Zeus in hand, Snappy in the vents. Tobias looks away, and Snappy just got out of position.
Well, they're working their way in right now. Snappy's trying to bide his time, pick a moment. I think he's waiting for the Zeus from Madden to do something to it. Goofy.
Oh, he
goes down. Zeus can't get close enough, and it all turns up ENCE. Double digits. No quit in this team. And it's 12-10.
Dare I say it, but the bonus rounds start to come into view. This tenacious little ENCE that could are not out of this game just yet. They're pushing everything. They're pushing Team Falcons to the verge of collapse here on Nuke.
Hades one more time opens it up. This ult has been so good. And now Kyler punishes the follow-up push. ENCE is in control. It's a 5-on-3.
Snappy gets inside of the smoke. Diha slips in towards main. Snappy's looking for him. Diha not looking the right way. Can't deal with it. Is down. A 4v3 off the back of that, so maybe still a chance. And Magis can step up here for the Falcons.
It's the ult though. It's Hades, ready and waiting, sees the utility, wants the follow-up peek. He's gonna try and timing shot. He's got defense, and Goofy's gonna step forward. And so Boros, a double from heaven. And it's brought right back into a 2-on-2.
Just as you think ENCE are ahead, there's a moment again that pulls the Falcons back into it. But the timing, look at this, Clinch slips underneath, and he's got it! The battle of the in-game leaders. The headshot on the flick up, and Boros cannot compete. He cannot compete at all. ENCE have drawn us to the brink.
That AWP is worth everything. They must have it. 6 of the last 7 rounds for ENCE. They have come storming back. It's overtime or a Falcons victory, crushing the Dreams 12-11. One final round to decide it all.
It looked like ENCE were out of it. It looked like they were done, but absolute god has arrived.
It felt like they were done. It felt like they were going to collapse. It felt like it was just way too much to handle. For a new team, a young team, the team that we came into saying it was inexperienced, but they're looking like heavy veterans today. Every single time they've had a response and a rebuttal, whether it's Goofy, whether it's Diha, whether it's Hades throughout this entire map. We need all 24.
If you're Kubin standing behind your team at this point, you can barely watch. You can barely watch. Falcons down to MP9s on 3 players. The momentum safely on the side of the poles.
Outside this time, 4 players. Crossing the smoke, no one from Falcons has vision. Sunpius with that saved AWP. Oh, Hades. Don't give him a second look, but Sunpius is downstairs with an AWP ready to go.
Yeah, Sunpius is ready to strike, and he'll strike true. You mentioned that AWP being everything if Falcons are to stay in this game. And Sunpius has made it work for that first kill at least.
He's made him pay the tax, and now that you're downstairs with numbers, with bodies, where do you go? You use so many smokes to cross to this point, you have none left. What options do ENCE have? You attack into the lower bomb site, you know Sunpius will be there again with the AWP. You know Boros is going to be quick on the rotation from ramp room.
The only option they want to believe in at this point is overtime. The only reality they want to live in is the reality they are in, which is a chance for OT, a chance to stay alive. But they've got to do it from a 4v5. They're going to walk their way down past those double doors. 25 seconds. The final swing of those double doors is open. Sunpius ready to strike. He can drop behind cover, but it's a missed shot from Sunpius, but he goes back again. And Falcons are bringing them to the end of this road. It was such a romantic story, but I think we're about to get a dose of reality. Kylar comes down the stairway, but no time at all. The time runs out, and that is it. It is Falcons who will progress to the semifinals over ENCE. They give the Poles something to shout about. They come back after 8 years. The first Polish team to make it into the playoffs in the Spodek. The first Polish team to give any sort of hope. And this is a new team. This is a team.